Once the coastline disappeared, the ocean stopped offering obvious directions. Yet navigators still crossed open water toward islands too distant to see.
They were not guessing, and they were not relying on one magical star. Different maritime cultures built different systems, but the shared principle was simple. Treat the sky, sea, wind, animals, and remembered journey as evidence. No single clue had to be perfect. The navigator kept asking whether the clues still agreed.
They followed the stars is not entirely wrong. It is merely the historical equivalent of explaining a ship by pointing at one plank.
Stars were most useful near the horizon, where their rising or setting positions gave a direction. But a star climbed, disappeared, or became hidden by cloud, so the navigator transferred the course to another star, the low sun, or the movement of the sea itself. Persistent ocean swells could provide direction when the sky was unavailable. The result was not one celestial arrow pointing at land, it was a sequence of temporary handholds. Holding a direction was only half the problem. The navigator also had to remember how long the vessel had traveled, its estimated speed, every turn, and how wind or current may have pushed it sideways. Across the Indian Ocean, sailors also learned to time voyages around seasonal winds that made major routes repeatable. The voyage, therefore, existed as an evolving position inside the navigator's memory, where the island should be, where the vessel had moved, and how uncertain that estimate had become.
Every turn, slowdown, and change of wind had to remain in someone's memory. There was no autosave.
Near the expected destination, navigators widened the target. They did not search only for a tiny strip of land. They searched for the island's footprint in the surrounding world. Some seabirds fared offshore and returned toward land. Clouds could gather above islands or reflect light from shallow lagoons. Swells could bend around land and send altered patterns back across the sea. Floating vegetation could provide another supporting clue. None of these signs proved that land lay in one exact direction, but together they could turn an invisible island into a much larger search zone.
The birds had local knowledge. They had not documented it, naturally.
As the vessel approached the coast, the evidence changed again. Reefs altered the waves. Familiar headlands or mountain shapes appeared. In traditions using sounding lines, a weighted line measured depth, and material fixed inside the lead could bring up a sample of the seabed. That could help a navigator recognize a known approach. But a sounding line did not discover a distant island from the middle of the ocean. It helped confirm the final stage. This is why traditional navigation was not a bag of isolated tricks. It was continuous judgment. Does the star agree with the swell? Does the remembered travel time agree with the birds? Do the clouds, waves, and expected coastline agree with one another? When one clue failed, another carried the route. When the clues disagreed, the navigator corrected the mental position.
Modern navigation gives you coordinates. Traditional navigation demanded something different, understanding how the entire environment was moving around you. The horizon looked empty. To an experienced navigator, it was full of information.